Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, anywhere you have opportunity to watch me live or anytime you have opportunity to watch this video. My name's Kennedy Adedotunade. The topic I have today is competitive advantage of United States in Africa. Africa is a continent in out of the number of continents around the world that is very unique about different things. Let me say uniqueness about their diversity, uniqueness about their resources, uniqueness in terms of their people, uniqueness in terms of their location. And based on this, I see United States as a country that they have a kind of a competitive advantage compared to other countries around the world. And I'm going to talk about this topic on two main topics. And first topic is going to be focusing more on what I would call the factors that actually distinguish United States out of when you are comparing United States to other countries around the world. And second is going to be the strategy, maybe years of strategy and the way forward to be able to have what we expect in Africa and what we expect as a country within the continent of Africa. That any country that, within the continent of Africa, that any country that wants to help the continent should be able to, focus on, to be able to empower the people, to ensure success and the kind of development we are expecting. Now, on the factors, and that actually distinguish United States to be more competitive compared to China, compared to Germany, compared to if I want to compare to Great Britain, I think the United States and Great Britain is going to be on the same level. So in terms of these two topics, now I'm talking about the factors. We'll have language. As an average American, the main language in the United States is English, and at least more than a dozen of African countries speak English. So it actually places them in a very competitive way, because if you are coming from China, you are going to Africa. Chinese, they need to learn English before they can, first of all, come and say they want to come and do business in Africa. And their people does not actually speak any English. They are, when they come to Nigeria, come to Ghana, come to Cameroon, come to Angola, and most of these places that speak English within Africa, they have to find most of their citizens that have ability to speak or understand English language. Therefore, average Americans speak English. So with that, it is easier for them to build a kind of business that can actually bring their people. For example, let's say they want to bring people that speak English to Nigeria from the United States for a particular infrastructure development or a construction work or a particular project. One thing is that there's average Nigerians that have been a citizen, or average Ghanaian that have been a citizen, average Cameroon that have been a citizen, or that have been permanent residents. They are there on the street that they can actually employ to take them to this country to go and do the work. That is basically one way, because with that, actually, they position themselves in a way where they are more competitive. These people, they might be citizen or dual citizen of both United States and Nigeria, or both Ghana and Nigeria, both Ghana and United States. And at the same time, when they take them there, they know that they know the terrain, they understand the culture, they understand the way of life. They likely will not be afraid of kidnapping the way that if they take a white person there. So instead, they will look for people that are of the same race, the same tribe, the same culture. They will take them there. So that itself alone position United States to be more competitive in Africa, especially in most of the English-speaking countries in Africa. The second point I'm going to talk about is about the presence. Over the past years, over the past decades, we can count on number of companies or let me say American companies that have been in different countries in Africa. Let's look at, for example, KPMG has been in Africa for as long as I can remember. Accenture has been in Africa as long as I can remember. And some other consulting, accounting, consulting, and auditing company that has been in Africa as long as I can remember. Then we can mention Mobil, we can mention Chevron, we can mention Shell, we can mention all these companies that are dealing with oil and gas, and they have been in Africa for as long as we can remember. And these people, I know, despite the kind of business that they do, they've had their presence in Africa over years, which, well, they might not have contributed well to the development of Africa. They might not have contributed the way they are expected to have contributed, because if you are doing something in the United States as a Shell or as Chevron, the same thing is not done in Africa, because anywhere where you explore and you're supposed to ensure you avoid spillage, you avoid you adhere to OSHA safety. But when they come to Africa, they don't adhere to OSHA safety. They don't adhere to most of the basic principles that guide construction, that guide oil exploration and processing. So, but they have their presence in Africa. So automatically, United States have let me say a more opportunity to be able to be more competitive within Africa, to do business in Africa more than most other countries. Then the next thing I'm going to talk about is people. You know, like I said, people over the last maybe 40 to 50 years, majority of Africans have migrated to the United States. They've been able to have, let me say, their presence in the United States that actually permits the United States to be able to look inward, to be able to say, okay, how do we now use the what I would call the internal African within their country to be able to do business in the continent of Africa, especially in the English-speaking country around in the entire continent of Africa. Then the next thing I'm going to talk about is an investment. There's a lot of money the United States have spent in Africa. One, I'm gonna query some aspect of the kind of money they spent. They claiming that okay, they have given aid. I don't believe in that, because growing up in Africa till now, that we've never seen any aid from anybody. Everything is corruption. In the name of whatever the word is being pushed. But one point I'm going to point to is that investment. There have been a couple of investments in one way or the other that have gone to African country through aid, through other aspects of whatever it has been spent on. So on that note, they have understood some aspect of the business, or let me say terrain, which in the aspect of business that they have to do within the different countries in Africa. And the third is, I'm going to talk about the relationship. Over years, they've had years of relationship with most of the country in the continent of Africa. And most of it might not have been very productive, might not have been to this let me say the development of the people, might not have been able to lead to what the African people are expecting, might not have been to the point at which we can point 2, 3, 4, 5 areas where those relationships have yielded a tangible result, apart from in some aspect that is very questionable. So, but in the sense of the year of relationship, they've had years of relationship with most African countries. So, on this note, the 5 factors that I actually explain a little bit actually can be point as an areas where United States actually can have competitive edge above most other countries across the world that are actually trying to do business in Africa. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about the strategy. Now, over years, based on research, based on understanding of my own critical thinking, the one thing is to have people. One thing is to have resources. One thing is to have strategy. One thing is for politics to be in place. One thing is to have vision. One thing is to have the energy. One thing is to have a driving force, that bring all these things together to be able to achieve results that is expected within a country or within the continent of Africa, within the entire continent of Africa. Now, in terms of strategy, I believe, I often say something that what we need is not, we are not expecting in Africa, my own opinion, what we are expecting is a continent where the rest of the world does not take us as just a third class. The rest of the world does not take us as if we are non-entity. The rest of the world does not treat us as if we don't even know what we want. The rest of the world must not treat us as if we are what's it called, third world country. You know, what I'm expecting, what Africa is expecting from the country like United States, from Great Britain, from Germany, from Russia, from every of these the G8 countries, is that we need partnership that actually ensure the development of our people, development of our infrastructure. One thing I always say something, it's going to be to the benefit of everybody, because when you have partnership, when you have one thing, let me say a kind of a mindset that believe that, okay, we are going to Africa in partnership, not because we are going to Liberia, we need diamond in Liberia, we just want to take diamond from Liberia, we don't care whatever is happening to the people, we don't care how many people is going to get killed, we don't care how many road is going to it's not going to be built, we don't care how many lives is going to be wasted. That does not embrace the existence of the people. I think that is where I said the strategy that have been in place over years. It is high time for us to start thinking as an American. We start thinking as a Briton, as a German. We start thinking differently compared to the way you have been thinking over the past 100 years. Yes, I know that, okay, there was slavery. There was a lot of things that happened before and after slavery. But now we're in 21st century, where the people in Africa deserve the right to be able to know what they have and what their product, their resources is used for, and how are they going to be able to benefit from the resources. Let me paint Nigeria, for example. In the Niger Delta in Nigeria, if you go to Niger Delta, automatically you will be so sad, despite billions of dollars that comes out of Niger Delta every day, because Nigeria produces at least 2.1 million barrels a day. And out of the 2.1 million barrels that come from Nigeria, the people from Niger Delta produce more than, what am I talking about? Produce 90% of that. And no road, no water, no shelter. And most of the companies that are involved in this exploration, they are European companies, they are American companies, they are German companies. But if in their own country, they ensure infrastructure is sufficient, they ensure safety is sufficient, they ensure basic amenity is sufficient. Now, in this current, are you telling us that we don't deserve it? Are you telling us that we are nobody for us to deserve to have what is the best for our people, despite I tell people, I said, the entire world, the sustenance of what is called economy in the United States, what is called economy in China, what is called economy in Europe, what is called economy in any part of the world depend on Africa. And that is a fact. But right now at this stage, the strategy that I'm talking about, how do we want to partner with each country in Africa? If you partner with Nigeria, the vision must be, one, people must be developed. Development of the people. How do you empower the people? It is not that, okay, you go to China, okay, I mean, you go to Nigeria, you just believe that once you take oil from Niger Delta, you don't care the life of the people, you don't care how many people is going to be killed, you don't care how many the land is going to be, the spillage on the land, you don't care the farm that is going to be destroyed, you don't care the water that is not going to be available. No, we cannot continue on this path if we want peace around the world, because Africa, it's time for us. And I'm telling everybody up here to listen, Africa, it's time for us to renegotiate every deal that makes us to have partnership with every other part of the world. And every country in Africa deserve, because we have sovereignty as a country. We have sovereignty, we are federation by ourselves. Therefore, we are not submissive to any country around the world. We have the right to decide what we want. Therefore, as a country, and my topic is on the competitiveness advantage of the United States above other countries. But because they preach, the United States preach democracy, right? Democracy is the freedom of the people, by the people, for the people, right? Yes. Now, on this note, they must be able to reevaluate the democracy that is being preached. And on that note, after reevaluation of that particular politics, then we need to now think, how do we want to move forward? What is the next stage in ensuring, despite most countries in Africa will practice democracy, but the democracy we practice, it's one, we are being brainwashed in one way or the other. We are being pushed in one way or the other. If this leader does not support some things, but by United States, there are possibility that that leader is not going to get to power, or possibility that that leader is going to be killed. But on this point, where we are, I think it is now high time for United States to reevaluate, or the Great Britain to reevaluate. How do we ensure that Africa develop in a way that everybody become a beneficiary of what is available? Let me tell you, over past 100 years, resources have been taken in almost every country in Africa, and yet it's still there. Why? Because it is God-given. It is God-given. It cannot be, whatever God gives to you, He give it to you. Therefore, how long do we, or does this country, do you want to continue to enslave the people of Africa? Manually, or the people, or the resources, or money-wise, financial-wise, in every aspect. Therefore, the strategy that I'm talking about, if you are just joining me, I've discussed few things. I discussed competitiveness of the United States above any other country in Africa, for them to be able to lead and be able to be profitable if they want to. And I mentioned the language, I mentioned the presence, I mentioned the people, I mentioned the investment, I mentioned the relationship they've had over the last maybe 100 years. Now, I'm talking about the strategy that have been in place that brought Shell, that brought Chevron, Mobil, to Total Final Earth, and others that have made them to make their presence in Africa over the past almost 100 years. Yet, there's no development. Yet, there's no growth. Yet, there's no infrastructure. Yet, people are still swapping in poverty. Why? Because the strategy that brought this company to the shore of Africa is corrupt. The strategy that brought them to institute themselves in our country is evil, is corrupt. It does not support our development. Therefore, with the point I'm talking about now, United States or any country that care to listen, it is high time for us to start investing in the development of our people, development of our infrastructure. And I also mentioned support the political development with the section, with influence, without influencing us. Don't say, okay, because I'm not going to be following the politics of the United States, automatically then that person cannot be a president in his own country. No, you don't have any power. People, democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Yes, but even though I've said this on a couple of videos, I said democracy now, the way it's being practiced in the United States, is different from the way it was defined in 1776. It's completely different, because this is no more a democracy. This is now capitalism. And for us to go into democracy that we want as people, we need people, by the people, for the people. And if we do not do this, automatically we are still challenging ourselves to self-destruction as African. And for United States to practice democracy and allow us to practice democracy the way it pleases our people, and at the same time, the kind of development we are expecting, the strategy that brought every industry to the shore of Africa must be reevaluated. And on this, I'm talking now, how can the United States now benefit in investing to Africa? I have mentioned they have benefit, they can benefit, because there's a lot of African in the United States. If they want to invest in Ghana, they can hire a lot of Ghanaian American. They can hire a lot of Nigerian American. They can hire a lot of Cameroon American. They can hire a lot of them, and they can be able to take them back to their country to go to invest and to manage the infrastructure, or to manage the kind of business they want to manage. And again, I made mention of something. I said, World Bank has been investing, if you care to know, go and research it. World Bank has been investing in Nigeria as far back as 1964, I think. And the road between Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, they've spent over more than 500 million, almost 1.something billion over that road, over the last, since 1976 or 1977. And this road has never finished. And they release the money to almost every government on the same road. Now, I now mentioned something. I said it is either, whether you do civil engineering, you understand what I'm talking about. It's either the investment is made for our failure, or it's not even made at all. That means, okay, they gave money to just some people to put it in their pocket, and they wrote it there that, okay, we are owing this amount. Then they put us into perpetual debt, and we are struggling that, oh, we are owing money, and issues are there. Everybody is now complaining, oh, Nigeria is owing this amount of money. And I always say, I said, the issue with the World Bank and Africa is because they actually position us to failure. Because there's no way in anywhere in the world that you are releasing money for a particular project without monitoring the stages of each project. And it is high time we question every money that the World Bank has ever disbursed to any project in Africa. If okay, I come to you as a governor from any state in Nigeria, and I say, okay, I want to build some particular road, and I need money, I need finance, and I come to you, I brought the number of kilometer, the road structural design, I brought everything to you, and you are supposed to evaluate that, okay, how much does it cost from kilometer A to kilometer B? How much does it cost? And any amount that it costs, you want to know what is the first stage of whatever they have to do, and you disburse the money. Once that first stage is done, you want to know the next stage, then to disburse the next money. But in World Bank, no. What if you go to the website, you see and you read, you'll be so sad. You'll be so sad. And I think it is high time for average Nigerian to understand the perpetual debt our leaders over years has entrenched us in, and at the same time, the lack of, I said, we need to start questioning the authority, question people in power, question the people at the top, even the World Bank, question them. I wrote a letter. I think I wrote a letter to, what is it called? The current African Development Bank chairman. What's the former Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria. I wrote him a letter, and I was telling him this. I don't know if he saw the letter or not, but I did. I was telling him, there's no way you are an African Development Bank, and World Bank is releasing money to you, and there's no trace whatever the money has been released to Africa. What is now the function of African Development Bank? So it is high time we start questioning all these things, because all the money that we are complaining, oh, this person stole this, they don't just go to down pick money. Somebody released money to them, and they had the opportunity to use that money, but they never use it, but they put the money in their own pockets. Therefore, for the United States as a country to be able to become more competitive, because Chinese is dominating everywhere now. It's great. They bring in development in one way, the way they know how to do it. But in my own opinion, I want to believe that United States has more opportunity to be able to be more competitive and give much and do much than China. If they look at what they have and be able to embrace what they have. And I remember one day I was flying from Washington DC to Atlanta. I was sitting with a guy, and the guy is a military officer, and the guy was asking me that, okay, the issue of Boko Haram in Nigeria, the issue of this in Middle East, and I told him, I said, the problem of Boko Haram in Nigeria and other parts of the Middle East is not the people. I said the people were deprived of education. So when people are deprived of education, what do you expect? They cannot be able to get job. So automatically there's no job there's no food on the table. So some people have it as an advantage to use them for their own selfish interest. And I said, for example, and I gave this guy, he's a military guy, I said, imagine United States fought war in Iraq, and the war they fought in Iraq, I said, let's imagine they did not go to fight that war. They went to Iraq to go and to give them education. I said, if they give them education, do you think that ISIS can come later? Because they would have been they would have had more understanding. And the same thing happened in Syria. The same thing is happening in northern Nigeria. We need people to be able, these people to have education, to be able to question, to be able to ask questions, to be able to question the status quo of things around them. But the day you do not have that day you are slave to some people. You are answerable to some people, and unfortunately, if that person is not feeding you, is giving you food. Oh, sorry, that would be a sad story. Therefore, what am I saying? That the strategy of years by the United States, by the so-called world power towards Africa, it has to change, because it is high time for all of us to embrace ourselves. Look at us as human. Don't look at us as if the way you painted us in the last 100 years, that we are animals, we don't know anything. No, we know something. But because we have allowed the animosity to continue over decades, that's why we are still in the kind of mess we are in Africa. And I say it's time for us as an African, that only where you find yourself, that in the United States, that in China, that in India, anywhere you are, and even in Africa, it's time for us to embrace ourselves. Let's celebrate what we have, and let's look inward, and make sure that what defines us is more important. What unites us is more important. What brings us together is more important than what we think is separating us. We are looking at religion. We are looking at a lot of things. Those things are just things that they are using to separate us, to make us not to be stable. They are just tools from the hands of the Western world, from the hands of the Arabian world. It is time for us to look inward and celebrate who we are. We are human. We are people of diversity, with strength, with energy. Don't forget, I always say on my video, I said, we build the Western world. Yes, everything that defines the Western world, we build it. But it is high time for the Western world, or the every part of the world, to now look at us and know that we need strategy that help these people to achieve development in their society, development of their people, of their infrastructure, and become more competitive with other parts of the world. And if you hear anybody in the United States, they will tell you Africa is the future. And if you believe yourself as an African, believe Africa is the future. If you understand technology, if you understand development very well, I can tell you, if you care to listen, everything in the Western world is done. Everything is done. The next part of the world that is next for development is Africa. So is that you believe it or not? And that is the future. So we are going to be the one to rule the future. And it is depending on you as an individual. And it's depending on me as a person to be able to see far, reason far, think far, and ask questions, and be able to position ourselves for that competitive advantage. The same way I'm telling the United States they have advantage, the same way we have advantage, because we have the people, we have the resources, we have the manpower to be able to channel us, to position us in a position where we can be the best around the world. Thank you so much. My name is Kennedy Adeotunlade. I appreciate you. I love you all. The same way I love Nigeria, I love Africa, I love the United States of America. And I do this video to just my opinion globally on what I think is right for Africa and what I think is right based on United States competitive advantage, and based on any other country that can look at what I said and pick something, one or two things from it. And I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. And anywhere you are watching or you're looking at me, that maybe you are in other part of the world, in Eastern time, Western time, Central time. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful morning. And I pray may God bless you. Thank you.